Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Tuesday, October the 5th. And I want to start with the NASDAQ. I think it's a good idea before we do the stocks because most of the stocks are kind of, not all of them, but many of them are kind of doing this pattern or something very similar to this. Now, the thing is that we're going from wave 3 here down to wave 4. Now, the tricky thing is that, as I mentioned before this wave 4 started, we'll either have an easy run where we get 5 waves in the first leg, or we'll get 3 waves in the first leg. Now, when you get 3 waves in the first leg, it's normally part of the flat family correction. And then from that, you'll get extensions of that, double zigzags, which we've got here, triple zigzags and triangles and those sorts of things. So that's what we're in. We're in this sort of group of 3. So the A wave, the B wave and the C wave here for the W, and then the 3 waves for the X, and then the 3 waves for the Y. That's pretty much it. So as I know, a few folks are a little bit confused about this, and that's probably my fault. So we just need to go over it a few times. So a single zigzag here is normally what you'd see in a wave 2. It's just an A, B and C, and it's normally a 5-wave structure, 3-wave structure and 5-wave structure, but it doesn't have to be like that in a double zigzag. So in a double zigzag here, we've got an A, B, C for the W, an A, an invisible B, and a C wave here for the X, and then an A, B, C. I mean, that B wave's just missing. That was just my fault. Yeah, but that's what we've got. And you can also have a triple zigzag as well, like this here. So, yeah, I mean, we could get that. I don't think so, because we're kind of getting close to our targets in most cases. But, yeah, this is the little sucker here. So, yeah, a bit of a tricky thing, but there we go. So it's kind of easy once you get your head around it, but otherwise, you know, to get your head around it is always the tricky thing, isn't it, you know? So yeah, just repeating that wave 3 here with an A, B and C for the W, and A, B, C here, an A and a B and a C here. So it's kind of where we are with all of this. So let's move on in and take a look. So with Amazon here, a W, X and Y here. So yeah, we still got further to come down through here. The other thing about this is that this is a major level here, major level 3, and then we've got group 1 above at 1, 2 and 3. So we can expect the market to bounce around a little bit in here. So in this case here, I might need to extend this down further actually, but let's just see how we go. Yeah, so we've got 3 in the first wave here, then we've got this one, then we've got 1 and 2 here. And I'm putting this as 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave. I'm sort of okay about that. The third wave's a little bit short, so I'll probably have to adjust this. But the takeaway here is that, as I mentioned, we're in group 1, which is 1, 2 and 3. It's that simple. And the market tends to bounce around in these a little bit. The only thing that we could sort of add here a little bit are the smaller levels and at the halfway mark. So the 250 in this case, and and down here we'll put this in here at the 150. So, but of course there will be, you know, the story between each between 100 and 200, we'll have the numbers running the Fibonacci sequence 1, 2 and 3, then 5, which is the midpoint, and then 8. So 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8 to make up the subgroup levels within that space. Yeah, but that's where we are with here. So we expect this to come further down. It's just a little bit of a bumpy ride. On Google here, wave 3 and wave 4, we're on 100 ticks, not the daily chart here. Once again, an ABC for the A wave, the B wave and the C wave for the W, the X, the A, the B, and I'm looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down to the medium level here at 2,500. So you could probably, next time that comes down under this, because this is all group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80. So the next time this comes down and finds that as the resistance, you could short that if you wanted to and come down further on that. So this is quite a nice sort of clean pattern here. And yeah, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to come down into that level. Apple's doing the same thing as well. So we've got bits. It hasn't really extended down much, but it's getting there. So yeah, double an XY. Let's go in and have a look at it from the daily chart to the tick chart. I just go from the daily to the tick chart to save time. That's all. And so let's just bring in a bit more. Well, from the top here, we can look at wave 3 here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we counted down. So I thought we were going to have it easy at that point. I thought we'd just have, you know, that's the way. But then we've got this move down, which is fine in 5 waves. Then we've got this sort of high correction here, which kind of threw me out a little bit. But yeah, and that's when that's when we knew something was sort of up at that point. So an ABC for the W, the X over here, and then we're looking for an A and a B and a C wave down. So probably down around the 130 for this. So we're likely to get, we didn't quite reach our target up here yesterday. It was quite sharp and swift. In some cases, this move here was quite small in some stocks as well. So if we put this, so it's basically it's not reaching its target. So that's its target there. Don't expect it to be reached. Okay, it may and it may do. So I'll put it there. But I think we'll just come a little bit closer to the to the 140 and what we could do with this as well. I mean, it's the end of the session, so. Let me just have a little look inside of this here. It looks like it wants to come down a bit further, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like a 4th wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the sort of center of it. That's that to there. Oh no, that's 5 to there. So 1 and 2 and 3. Sorry, 1 and 2. Oh, I'll have to do some work in that. But that's probably it there. So it looks like it wants to. So what we'll do is, I mean, I can see what sort of, we can see what's happening in a way, but let's just, I mean, if it's going to rally, I don't think it's going to go all the way up there. So it'll just be something like that, and then move down from that point probably, and it'll probably prove me wrong, and go right to the 61.8%. Yeah, but the takeaway is that, you know, this is really just, you know, when this 140, which would consider a minor level, is really just, you know, it's the closest, largest number. And this market, would you say that it's found it as resistance yet? Not really. I mean, it's come down and sunk into it and bounced off it. And that's the thing, when a market, if this came down, if this came down to the 140 and just clipped it and then went straight up, then it would have reached its target. But when a market sinks into a number and has to climb out of the mud, so to speak, you know, get on support and then build to the upside, then you know that it's struggling at that point. You know, even though it moved up, but it hasn't. You know, it came down and bounced off it, the first bounce, and then it's come through it. It hasn't really retested it as to fail yet, has it? Do you know what I mean? So that's really what we're looking for at that point. But that said, would be looking down for 3, 4, and 5 to move lower within that space. Okay, Square. So I'm starting to look at, I mean, with Square here, we had it as the wave 3 over here, the ABC for 4 and up for 5 for wave 3. We kind of confirmed that in the end. But I think I might need to look at this too in a different way, because if, just for example, if the other markets are going to, I mean, because the first thing that sort of struck me was that when I looked at this structure here as an ABC for wave 4, this wave 4 is 1 degree smaller than this one, so I would just naturally expect this one here to be 60% bigger than this one. But at this stage here, it's still quite small in a way compared to this. But at the same time, we need to look at how the other markets are going to finish off as well. You know, the Alphabets and the Apples and so on. When they finish their wave 4, well, then most of the others are not going to be far behind. So in a way, it's kind of going to make this a little bit sort of smaller, really, than this one. So that's a little bit of a concern. I have been looking at it as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, which I'm going to... yeah, no, it's not right. So I've got to move these away, and we need to look at it a little bit differently. I'll just move that for the time being. I don't want to get rid of them, but so yeah, I mean, first of all, we're short here in a couple of places. Secondly, our target to the downside will be around the 200 mark. So, thirdly, I'm not 100% sure on how it's going to get there. Fourthly, I know that we're entering into group 1, so it can get a bit bouncy in here. Let's go into the tick chart and check on this. So I've put it as... let's just go back a bit, shall we? So from the top here, I've put it down as an A and a B and a C wave here. So I'll put it as the same as the other markets as such. And if that's the case, then I would have, I mean, with the other markets too, in terms of timing, I've really got this here as the ABC pattern here, and then looking this down here as wave 1 and back for wave 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's how I'd have the other markets. But I'm not quite sure about what I should be doing here just yet. I haven't really had time to sit with it, you know. So what I'm thinking is that we have a half a position here and a full position here. So we're kind of in a reasonable place at the moment. But what could happen is that if this was wave 1 coming down through here, which if I'll just copy that just here so I know what I'm talking about next time, where I'm up to, then we could have a 50-60% retracement level here for this. So you need to ask yourself, are you prepared to, it may not reach this far back, so, you know, but if I line it up with the other markets, that's kind of what it should do, but I don't think it will go that high. But if you wanted to take some money off the table, then this is a good place to do it, you know. So I'll just leave that with you. But otherwise, what we can do is we can bring this stop down to this point. And yeah, that's a little bit helpful, isn't it? We shouldn't breach that top. So it's just going to get a little bit back. And also too, just this little trend line through here. Not that it's a biggie, but trend lines are useful until they're not. So really we need to be on the other side of this trend line. So there's a couple of reasons for it to have a bounce here. And yeah, it may sink a bit lower into the 2.2 here, or to the 218, and then try to rally and come back to the 230 probably, or 228, and then drop again from that point. So yeah, a few things here, but this is our our target for this will be down here for that. Okay, closer to the, doesn't have to be right on a large number, always best just before. So that's where we are with this one. So we're getting there. We've done a reasonable job. Could have done better. But anyway, it's hard to be perfect all the time. Square, Facebook. Okay, so obviously there's a bit of a campaign going at the moment called Delete Facebook. So obviously that's sort of showing up there a little bit, or maybe, who knows, whatever. Media, gotta love them, gotta hate them. So yeah, okay, so I think we've still got to come back to the fourth wave of one lesser degree. We've still got a fair way to come in all of this, but at the same time, it's a bit of a this stock, because it's having a bit of a social media issue at the moment. We could see it move down a bit quicker than Apple, say. Anyway, let's just go in and have a look at what we've got so far and track what we've got. So let's just go back and get a bit more. Okay, so I've got a couple of things here for this. So first of all, there's a good case that we can have wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 in here and 4 here, right? And from 4, we'll have 5 waves down of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming down. Okay, and that on the daily chart, I've got that as wave A here, and then that would bring in wave B over here. So I don't know if Facebook would just go off and it's going to sort of do its sort of own thing. So I'll keep both counts on it. I'll keep the same count on it as I've got the other ones with the WXY. So I've got the W here, the X here, the A here, the B here. I'd still need to look at this. Here it's probably 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we're still going down. We also didn't reach our target here yesterday, but at the same time we had our short trade for below those that level, so that's okay. So we'll look to take profit on this down a little bit closer here. If there's any change, we'll address that. But otherwise, we're kind of on track here, and everything's reasonably okay. No drama, so to speak. These are 2 different trend lines. It's kind of expanding out a little bit, as you can see. Doesn't mean anything too much. But yeah, down to 300. Okay, so Tesla. Okay, so well, it's going to become a bit interesting from here on in. I feel like I've done my job. I've from the low here, from wave B to wave C here, we counted 5 waves up of 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a third, fourth, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to the finish line there. So that to me is done and dusted, and that would make 5, 5 C of B. That said, there is there problem. I mean, it's just not the best 5-wave structure that I've ever seen, and I can quite easily make a mistake with all of this. But even so, let's just say that for a moment that the market comes down and we can see a corrective pattern in here somewhere, some type of corrective pattern, and then we'll go, oh, okay, well, that's bullish. We're going to have another high here. Well, I'll wait for that high to come into place. I'm not going to trade it, and it would be the the first high above the level. So then that would give us our long trade setup. We'll probably get a second one here, And if that's the case, then we will look to go long. But I don't call that the first high above the level. I still call that part, because it's part of this little 5-wave structure here, it's really just the arrival here. So I don't want to go and split hairs, so to speak. So if there is another move up here, which, you know, this could be adjusted quite easily, by the way. But like I've always said, if we get a classic trading levels pattern up here, I'm happy to go long. But otherwise, we'll also keep a, you know, from this point onwards, we'll start looking at the bearish side. And we're not going to trade against the trend that quickly without a lot of evidence. And like I said, picking the top here is always dangerous business. And there could quite easily be another top here. I mean, can we look at all of this as wave 1 and 2 here? Because this has got a lot of form in it. Can that all be wave 3 here? Can that be wave 4 coming back and going up for wave 5, you know? So I'm totally unsure at the moment, but let's just leave it at this, and let's just give it probably a week, and then we'll see where we are with it. If anything sort of out of the, you know, outside of the box happens, that something like we see a really nice impulse wave coming much lower, well then we'll, you know, track the corrective rally, and then we'll look to short it. But I'm not going to make a move too quick here, because I know that the possibility, because this, you know, if this was really clean and tidy and it couldn't be anything else, then not a problem. You know, we can make a move on earlier, but because it's not, because it's really messy, we just have to be careful with it, that's all. And we have to remember as well, as the other markets, they will be finishing, you know, their wave 4s. This one's been going up while they're all been going down, haven't they? So it's, you know, it can be doing the opposite, you know. So we just need to be a bit careful about that. There's not a lot we can glean from the tick chart here, but let's go. Well, this is it here. So that's our first wave up that we had, as wave 1 and 2. And then 1 and 2 and 3, and then A, B, C, D, E here for 4th. Didn't quite overlap, it's okay. Up for 5 for the 3rd. Back for the 4th, that's sort of okay at that point. So that's our 4th wave there. Then we looked at this being 1 and 2 here, just going over things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd. The A, the B, and the C for the 4th. We've adjusted that a few times, but that's okay. And this last 5th wave here looks okay from wave 4 as 1 and 2 here. I struggle with this one a little bit, but still we've got a nice wave 4 here that would balance that out. And then the wave 5 here, is that just wave 1 and we come back for wave 2 and we go up for wave 3? That's another thing, you know. That could be wave 1 and 2 here. All of these sorts of things need to, you know, there's a lot to go on here just yet. So, you know, I'm not going to make a move on this at all. We did trade this okay. We were at the 650 here. I had some pocket money into it. I was out somewhere in this space up here. But yeah, there we go. That we've reached our target. We've counted our waves, and now we're just going to wait. Okay, I think that's it, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. Cheers.